This is Kinkaku-Ji, Kyoto's magnificent Golden Pavilion, often regarded as the most iconic temple in Japan. Yet, on a hot summer night, the temple would be set ablaze by one of its acolytes, Hayashi Yoken, shocking the entire country. This is the tragic story of the arson of Kinkaku-Ji. Kinkaku-Ji, which was first constructed in the 1400s by Buddhist monks, is one of Japan's most well-known temples as the Golden Pavilion for its gorgeous golden interior and exterior. The original temple stood for more than 500 years, serving as a place where one could find peace and practice Zen Buddhism. One of my favorite Japanese authors, Yukio Mishima, wrote a book about Kinkaku-Ji and the tragedy of the arson and the temple that was burnt down by Hayashi Yoken, a young Buddhist acolyte, in 1950. Yukio Mishima visited Hayashi in prison while writing his novel to gather information behind this young man's motivation, and his book, The Temple of the Golden Pavilion, tells the tragic and highly disturbing story of Hayashi. Hayashi became an acolyte at the temple in 1944 after the death of his father, and after many personal tragedies of loved ones passing, he began to have schizophrenic visions of the temple burning, and he hoped that the Golden Pavilion would be destroyed during the World War II firebombings. However, the temple was never firebombed. During World War II, the temple was visited by a drunk American soldier who orders Hayashi at gunpoint to trample his pregnant girlfriend. After being traumatized again, his mental illness worsens and he begins to drift from his duties at the temple, and he starts to accrue a large debt from a man in the book who is known as Kashiwagi. Hayashi tries to get expelled from the temple by hiring prostitutes, but this fails and he is forgiven. After he failed to get expelled from the temple, he purchased arsenic and a knife at the shop. The next morning, Hayashi decides he must go through with his plan to burn down the Golden Pavilion. He places 3 straw bells in the temple and sets them on fire. While the temple burned, he tried to get into the Kukyocho, the sacred 3rd floor of the temple, to meet his end. But the door is locked, and he feels that his visions of a glorious death have been refused, so he runs back outside of the temple and fled to the mountains. He was later found by law enforcement after consuming the arsenic and stabbing himself in the chest. Hayashi was arrested and sentenced to 7 years in prison. His mother threw herself in front of a train soon after the event, ashamed of her own son. Yukio Mishima would often visit him in prison to gather information on the arson and learn Hayashi's story. The novel, The Temple of the Golden Pavilion, is a shockingly accurate retelling of the event. Hayashi would die 1 year after being released from prison of tuberculosis in 1956, the same year that the rebuilding of the temple commenced. It's very hard to find any accounts about Hayashi, and his name has been excluded from every source at the temple, and it's considered taboo to even mention the arson. I'm sure the temple has done this to prevent him from becoming a celebrity, but I'm so glad that Yukio Mishima did write about him. His story is a very hard read and unsettling, but it gives an intense understanding to the temple's history. The temple has been fully restored now and is toured by hundreds of thousands every year. Yukio Mishima is one of Japan's most interesting authors, and I would highly recommend his books, The Sailor Who Fell from Grace and Sun and Steel.